Hello and welcome to Zen and the Art of the Guardian Sudoku puzzle for Tuesday the 16th of February 2021. In the news today, I see that the Australian government is about to make Google and Facebook pay for pay news service providers for the information they supply, which is shown on their pages for users to see for free, which I think is a good idea. We live in the internet age where everybody expects everything to be free, but it's just not sustainable, is it? It's just impossible to do that. I'm printing links every day from the Guardian Sudoku puzzle, and I hope that when you're at the Guardian, you'll read the newspaper and support the newspaper, subscribe to the newspaper as well. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but without their reporting, well, we'd be in the dark over so many things. So it's useful to support news organizations. Not useful, actually necessary, essential for any kind of reasonable information flow. The press, decent reporters have to be funded. At the same time, we'd like to see reporters without any morals, meaning those who, let's say, paparazzi who doorstep celebrities. Hopefully they'll just disappear at some point in time. Probably never going to happen though. People are too, I don't know, nosy or something. Anyway, let's get on with today's Sudoku puzzle, which is a medium grade puzzle according to the Guardian. And so let's have a look and see what we can see. Medium level means we might have some beginners, and quite often, I'm not sure, but the Guardian seem to be underrating their Sudoku puzzles. So let's just start by explaining that for any newcomers, we have a large grid divided into 9 sections here. Each section needs to have numbers 1 to 9 in that section because there are 9 squares there, 3 by 3. And also there are 9 squares in each column and each row, and you need numbers 1 to 9 in all of those. So for example, we have a 9 in this segment here, meaning a 9 can't come here or anywhere in these 3 squares, and also it means that a 9 can't appear here or here because it's already in this column, and that's basically how we work it out. But what we do is then we find out where it can go. So if we consider that a 6 can't go along this row here, and a 6 can't go along this row here, because we already have a 6 here, we are blocking these squares here and here. But we need to, okay, and also from this column, the 6 in this column, we are blocking every other square in this column from being a 6. Excuse the squeaking brakes. There's a large truck outside. Cross, cross, and blocking up here means there's only one position a 6 can go. It's got to go there, like so. And that's kind of how we find Sudoku numbers. So there's a 7 in this column here, and there's a 7 in this column here, so eliminating all other squares from being a 7. We don't yet have a 7 in this segment, so if you imagine a kind of look along the line, blocking, blocking, and there you go. Okay, how else do we go? Down here there's a 2 along this row here, and there's a 2 along this row here, so blocking here, 1 square free to put in a 2 in this segment. Down here where I'm missing. Okay, along this bottom row now, we only have 2 numbers missing. We can find out what they are. We'll count through the numbers. Do we have a number 1? No. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, 8, 9. So the missing numbers are 1 and 8 in this bottom row. But we can see that there's an intersecting 8 here, meaning 8 can't go here. So 8 has to appear in that square there. And the last number remaining is 1. Now that one that we just filled in, if we take that and extend that back up this column, and there's a one in this top square here, and we extend that down this column. So again, you're looking in lines, okay? If you're new to Sudoku, try to cast your eye along the rows and columns and see where is blocked. That's the easiest way to, certainly, to begin. There's an 8. If you're still doing the same thing, there's an 8 across this row and 8 across this row here, meaning an 8 has to appear in this square. Is it looking quite easy so far? I think you should hopefully see, even if you've never played before, that it's so far it's looking quite reasonable. Now, of course, you may be thinking, is it like this all the way along? And the answer is probably no. At the beginning, there are usually some easy numbers that we can see, and then maybe we have to think a bit harder later on. Such is the life of the designs of the Sudoku setter. Okay, so what else? Sevens, ones, twos. So you need to keep moving your eye all around. Important to not get stuck in one place when you're playing Sudoku. Make sure that you keep looking around everywhere. Okay, this 3 in this row eliminates these 3 squares here. We don't yet have a 3 in this segment, and so we can put the 3 in here. Okay, still looking around, trying to find the easiest ones. It's not usually a game of speed. I guess if you're playing competition Sudoku, it's a game of speed. But in general, you know, you can take your time over it. It doesn't mean you have to spend all day long playing bloody Sudoku, you know. Try to do it in moderation, you know, don't spend too long doing it, but you know, it's something to savor and enjoy, hopefully. Now, if you've played Sudoku before, then you may have encountered something that some people describe as pencil marks, and technically we often refer to them as candidates, and that means numbers that can go into particular locations, but we don't know their finalized positions yet. And this will help us to find numbers later on. So for example, well, maybe I'll show you the easiest one first. Okay, so if you imagine that this 1 blocks these 2 squares from being a 1 in this segment here, it means that a 1 has to appear either here or here. It can't come here or here because of this. So you can see that 1 is either here or here, and we don't quite know yet. Now if you imagine that 1 has now to appear in this column, so it means no 1 can appear here or here or here or here, right? Anywhere else. The same as when we have a 1 in this column, it blocks this square. These 1s block anything else in this column, meaning that we have a pair of possible ones as candidates there. Now you might be thinking, well, you know, how far can we go with this? Well, we can, as you'll notice later on, we reduce the number of available squares where we can put things in. That's what really helps us out in terms of Sudoku. If we consider this 9, we don't have many 9s, but if we consider this 9 up in this column, we'll see that these 3 squares are blocked here. Okay, this 9 blocks all of this column, so these 3 are blocked, and there's a 9 in this row blocking these two squares. This one is already blocked, but this one anyway. So that means that 9 is going to be either here or here in this segment. Now we can also bring those 9s back across. We know that it's got to be in this, a 9 in this row cannot be anywhere else, either here or here. So that means it can't be here or here or here. Well, we know it can't be here anyway. And we already have a 9 blocking these two. So this 9 blocks these two squares. These 9s block these two squares. So we have a pair of 9 candidates or pencil marks in the top there. And we can just keep doing this kind of thing. It will help us to find numbers more easily. There's a 7 in this top row blocking these squares. There's a 7 in this column blocking this square and this square, so blocked across the top, blocked across the center here. So 7 is either going to be here or here in that segment. Getting the idea about candidates yet? Hopefully so. Alright, now let's shift my attention somewhere else. Let's look down here now. There are 3 numbers missing. We have 1, 2, 3. We don't have a 4. This 4 here blocks this square, so a 4 could be either here or here. 5, 6, 7 we don't have, and the other missing number is 8. 8 we don't have, so the 8 blocks this square here, so we have a pair of 8s here like this. Okay, there's one more number missing, and what did I say it was? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. Sorry, the other missing number is 7. So I'm going to put in the other missing number, which is 7, but I'm going to put it not in the top of the top left hand location of the square. I'm going to put it in the bottom right. This is my own personal method of filling in candidates, and that's because pairs are extremely useful. They help you find numbers very, very quickly. So if a number is a pair, in other words, can only appear in 2 locations within one segment, I write it in the top left. If it's more than 2 locations, then I just put it in the bottom right. Now but we do know 4, 8, and 7 run across this line, so there can be no 4s, 8s, or 7s anywhere else along here. So there's no 7s along here, but there's a 7 in this middle part here. So 7 has to be a pair here or here, like that. The 8s run across here. We've already got 8 here, remember? 8s run across here, and there's an 8 intersecting here. So 8 will be a pair here and here. And the other number was 4. 4 runs across here. We've got 4 in this segment already. So 4 is somewhere in this middle part here. We don't know, we don't have any intersecting 4s, so we can't narrow it down to a pair, but we can put in 4 like this. Okay. This is pretty good for a medium puzzle. Recently the medium puzzles have been extremely easy in the Guardian, I think, so hopefully this is a bit more of a challenge for you. There's a 3 in this column here, knocking out these 2, and this 3 knocks out these 2 squares. So as a pair, 3 has to appear either here or here. 7 in this row, 7 in this row, meaning that square or that square has to be a 7. 6 in this column, 6 in that column, meaning these 3 squares are all blocked by existing 6s. So we can put in a pair of 6s here. Should have looked for this before. There's a 6 down here and a 6 up here. So in the same as 3, actually 6 and 3 and 6 and 3 were in the same columns. Really, you should look for this quite early on, because it often helps you find a kind of exclusive pair like this. When you have a pair of numbers like this, 3 and 6 and 3 and 6, it means 3 and 6 can't go anywhere else in this segment, and it also means that no other number can appear here. So these are effectively blocked now to all other numbers. Okay, so when we look at, let's look at the 4s as candidates. There's a 4 across here and a 4 across here. So 4s have to appear as a pair here or here. Writing in quite a lot of candidates here actually. Usually for a medium level puzzle, I don't need to write in quite so many candidates. Okay, now you'll see why this 3 and 6 has been very useful, because we don't have a 2 in this segment, you agree. But the 2 blocks off this column here, right? 2 blocks off this column here, so no 2 here or here. And the 2 here blocks off this square, meaning that only this square can be a 2 now, because 3 and 6 have already been decided. It's either 3 or a 6 in these 2 squares. No 2 can appear here, no 2 can appear here. So that has to be a 2. Now we know that we wrote in a pair of 4s, so we know that we've eliminated 4 from being here, so 4 has to appear there. Now one thing to do is to come down here and remove candidate 4 here. Now I think it's good practice that when you remove a third number, when you have 3 numbers like this, it's good to promote them up to pair position. That's my own preference. Not many people do that, I guess, but I do, because I just will now find it easier to see there's a pair of 4s along here. Somehow that will make things easier later on. And maybe not in this particular puzzle, but for the really tricky puzzles that we sometimes encounter. There are 2 numbers missing in this segment. We can find out what they are. We already know 3 and 6 are here or here. That means there are only 2 spaces left. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is missing, 6, 7, 8. 5 and 9 are missing. Now what we need to do is we need to see if there are any intersecting 5s or 9s, and there aren't, but we're going to put in that pair of numbers 5 and 9, 5 and 9, like that. Okay. Okay, there's a 6 in this row here, blocking these 3 squares, and meaning that a 6 has to be a pair either here or here. This 2 that we wrote in blocks off these 3 squares from being a 2. We also have a 2 in this column already, blocking up here, so blocked and blocked. So a 2 will have to appear here. And now we see that 2 blocks those 3 squares there, and we still need a 2 in this top segment, and so the 2 can appear there like so. There's a 2 here now as well. When you start looking around the 2s, there's a 2 up in this column, 2 in this column, so blocked and blocked. That means the 2 will have to go there. And what are we doing? We're overwriting a 9, so we can write that 9 in now. Here's a useful thing. This 4 extends right across, okay, blocking this square and this square, and leaving only these 2 options as a pair. Now this is useful because when we fill in that pair, we can extend it back down the column and see, well, we had a 4 here, but that 4 can't exist now, can it? So we can remove it, and there's only one place where a 4 can go, and it's there. In this column now, the missing numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. 7 and 9 are missing, but we can see an intersecting 7 here, meaning that that has to be 7 there. And our last number is 9 in this column. Something to remember, don't forget to remove the candidate 7, otherwise you might put it in again. It looks like, well, why would you do that? It's a big number, but when you play enough Sudoku, you certainly will make mistakes. I think you make mistakes at any level, even advanced players occasionally make mistakes. And one way of making a mistake is to forget to remove the candidate that you've already placed. Okay, what else is happening? Not going particularly quickly here today, but that's okay. I'm not in a hurry. So this 8 extends up this column, and this 8 extends up this column. So 8 up here, 8 up here. We don't yet have an 8 here. So 8 must appear either here or here. This is actually quite an interesting puzzle for this level. Okay, this 5 continues up this column here, blocking here and here, meaning that our 5 has to appear in that square there. And now you know why early on, when we were missing 2 squares, we wrote in the candidates. Because look, 5 and 9 as a pair, 5 and 9 as a pair, we know that that 5 can't exist anymore because it's blocked by this one here. So there we go, 9 there and 5 there. 5, this 5 extends across here, and there's a 5 in this column, so we can fill in candidates 5. So it means that you are filling in candidates as you go along. You know, you're finding numbers and filling in candidates. That's my approach. Now, you may be playing Sudoku on a computer, and sometimes you have a button that you can click on, and it will fill in all possible candidates. This can give you a real headache unless you're an experienced player, because you're just looking at too many candidates. So much better to do the easy ones first, fill in the pairs next, and then wait for any more difficult candidates that you have to fill in later. There's a 2 blocking this row here, there's a 2 blocking this row here, so top 2 rows are blocked. There's a 2 blocking this column also, meaning that a 2 has to appear here. This 9 that we filled in previously means that a 9 can't go there now, so we can remove it. Remember, it was part of a pair because it was in the top left of the cell, so we can fill the 9 in there. This has to be a 4. Can you see why? I'll say that again. This is a 4. Can you see why? Have a look. Have a look. Why is that a 4? How do I know that 4 is not here? 4 is here. Look, look, look. Okay, this is the answer. There is a 4 in this column already, right? Meaning this 4 is blocked from this square. 4 is blocked from this square. Also, there is a 4 in this segment here, meaning a 4 can't appear here. So if a 4 can't appear here or here, but we need it for this row, then it has to be there. Let's remove that candidate and fill in a 4 there. There's another way of looking at it as well. You could have also considered that this 4 blocks these 2 squares, and therefore a 4 will appear either here or here. In fact, I'll write in the candidate now if you like. Either here or here, right? And then you can extend this 4 across and this 4 across, and this, you come up with the same answer. There's a 1 number missing here. The missing number is 3, I believe. So we'll fill that in. 6 and 3. And if we move that 3 up to this column here, and there's a 3 intersecting here, we don't have a 3 in this segment yet. So blocking here, it means 3 must appear in that square there. Missing numbers here are going to be 7 and 8. you can see that 7 and 8, 7 and 8 here, and 7, 8 there. Ah, interesting. 7, 8, 7, 8 are the missing numbers. Okay. This 1 in this column, okay, this 1 in this column blocks here. So a 1 is going to be a pair here or here. Now earlier on, we decided this was, first of all we had a 7 as a pair here, and then we had a 4 as a pair here. And now we notice that this one blocks these squares, so we have a pair here or here of 1s. Now if you have this situation, if you have a pair and a pair in the same numbers in the same squares, well then that must either be a 4 or 1. That has to either be a 4 or 1. It means that that 7 is no longer true. We can't do that anymore, because this has to be either a 4 or 1. Can't be anything else. Now 7 we had as part of a pair, and so we can fill it in here. Now we know that's 4 or 1. The only other number missing is 8 here. With 7 we had 7 or 8, so that's now an 8. 7 or 8, that's now a 7. Back down here, that's an 8, that's a 7. Hope that makes sense to you. Now of course this 1 is the last number here in this row, so we know that's a 1. You could also see that 1 is blocking this candidate 1 now. As I say, very often many ways to find Sudoku numbers. Now there are 2 numbers left. We can see what they are. 1, 2, we don't have a 3 yet in this top row, so we'll just fill that in. And we can either look along the row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We don't have an 8. Or we could look within the segment, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We don't have an 8. You get to the same answer. So, you know, keep looking. You'll see more than one solution, one way of finding the same answer. Bring this 8 down. We can eliminate candidate 8 and fill in 8 here. There's only one number missing here now, which is 5. So we'll fill that in. And remember to cross out candidate 5, as I said. We don't want any accidents, especially at this stage where we're doing very well. Where are we now? Alright, so what numbers are missing here? 1, 2, 3 blocks this square here, so 3 has to be a pair here and here. 4, 5, 6. Do we have 6 here? No. 7 and 9. Do we have 9? Okay, 9 blocks this square here, and so 9 has to be a pair here or here, like that. The other missing number here is 6. There aren't any clues as to where the 6 goes, and so I'm going to put it, because it's not a pair, it's in 3 possible locations, I'll put it in the bottom right hand of the square. Okay, so we've only got this and these 2 regions to look at now. I'm missing something here. Okay. Right, so 1 in this region, 1 is blocking here, but that's the only place, and so we can put in candidate 1 in 4 possible squares. Now you might be saying, oh, that's quite a lot, but actually the more difficult levels you play, you'll find that it happens all the time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 we haven't got yet. Should have noticed that before. 5 we don't have yet, but look, 5 in this column all the way down, 5 down here. So that's our 5, and we're overwriting a 7. Somebody selling fruit. That's our 7. We're overwriting a 4. That's our 4. $40 a kilo if you want some. Anyway, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and this is got to be a 9, but a 9 is being blocked here by this 9, so our 9 goes here and our 1 goes here, and now we had a pair of 1s over here, so let's put in 1 down here and remove candidate 1. There's one number missing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's a 9. That's our last number. You can check again if you want. There's a 9 blocking these two squares like that. We had a pair of 9s here, didn't we? So that's our 9, and notice we are overwriting a 3, so we can fill in the other part of the pair there. There's one number missing now. It's a 6 there. We bring that 6 across. We had a pair of 6 or 3, so that's a 3 now. Our 6 is here. Our 6 back across here. That has to be 3, and that has to be 6. This 1 that we filled in before, we had a pair of 4 and 1. 1 blocks a 1 from there, so 1 is there, 4 is there. It's not really necessary to remove the candidates when you are right there. Finally 1, 2, 3, 4, missing number is 5 and 6. 5 is blocking here, 6 is blocking here, so that's our 6, that's our 5. That's our medium level puzzle for the 16th of February. Hope that was good for you. I filled in a lot of candidates, so I would say that probably is a medium level. If it's an easy level puzzle, you don't need to fill in so many candidates. Actually, maybe you've managed to do it at home, filling in fewer candidates, and that's good. I think the fewer candidates that you fill in, the better, really. But don't make life difficult for yourself. Never do that. Thank you very much. I hope to see you again tomorrow or in another episode. Bye-bye.